Good morning. Welcome to Room Therapy. Back to doing videos. I finally got me something that actually records the way I like. Um, let's jump right into it. So I saw a clip of a young lady saying if they never asked you your side of the story, it's because they already decided that the side of the story they heard is how they feel about you. And it's very real because we spend a lot of time caring about what people think, wanting to explain ourselves, wanting to give our side of the story. I am very much guilty of that myself. Um, I've had some very problematic relationships, right? Where I know for a fact when I set a specific boundary that people went and talked shit about me, right? To their family, their friends, because the reality is people are gonna ask, what happened to LaWanda? They don't let that type of disconnect slide just because of the type of person I am, the type of person I've always been, the type of person they knew me to be throughout whatever type of relationship, whether it's familial or romantic or whatever. People want to know, where's LaWanda? And it's easy for people to say she's not who you thought she was, or something that would suggest that who I showed up as during the time in said relationship was not real, was fake. It's easier for people to tell a lie than it is for them to be accountable for their own actions or their own their actions, how what they did. And it's in even in that instance, I feel like what those people don't know is you don't have to lie on me. You don't have to lie to kick it. You don't have to tell people anything. I mean, the simplest way to avoid a difficult conversation is to just not have it. You could just say, I don't want to talk about it right now. You can just say it didn't work out. And when people pry and dig and be all up in your business, um, instead of falling victim to that and lying on somebody else, just tell them it's not something that I want to discuss. We grew apart. All of those things are true. Instead, people go and they drag your name through the mud to make themselves feel better, to almost justify their reaction to said boundaries, okay? Because that's all it really is. Any relationship that I've left or put a very firm boundary in, these are people that I've known for a very, very, very long time, and not one of them has called. Not one. And there are enough people involved to where you would think at least one person want to know, like, okay, so what happened? What happened? What really happened? Because we're family, or because y'all was together for so long, or because there are kids involved, or because any of those reasons. I never get a phone call. I just get distance from that person, which is fine. But then everybody that I might have built my own sort of relationship with, everybody just kind of fall off the board. And so hearing the young lady say they don't call and ask your side of the story because the side that they get is how they really feel about you, and you could have not had that type of relationship with those other people to where they should even, how can you feel a way about me when my main relationship was with somebody completely outside of yourself, right? But they pick that narrative to hold on to because it's how they actually feel about you. And it's not that excuse me, it's not that they believe what's said is true. Is that they get to take you down off of the pedestal that said person had you on, right? Because when everything was going in that person's favor, then it was, oh, Wanda's this person is this, they're that, they're so good, they're so kind and so understanding and forgiving and giving and fucking all of the shit we are, right? Other people don't really like hearing that because in more cases than not, the people you're telling these things to, they want to be on the pedestal. They want somebody to feel the way you feel about me, or the way you felt about the person that set a boundary with you, right? They don't get that attention. They don't get the acknowledgement. They don't get the adoration, the love, the support. And this could be people come that, like, you could never have had this type of relationship with that person, right? It doesn't matter the relationships that they have in their life. Those people don't feel that way about them. They're not praising them. They're not saying, thank you for getting me out of a toxic situation. Thank you for this. Thank you for money. Thank you for support. They're not getting that. So when they hear somebody else is getting it from somebody that is a part of their circle or environment, the jealousy comes very, very quickly. And 9 times out of 10, it's not personal. You know what I'm saying? The truth is, the people that they're going back telling, they know these people. They know them better than you. They know them better than I did. They know the type of relationships they had, the type of people they've had, the type of people they've been, the type of people they've been with, the type of jobs they had or didn't have, right? So they can, with their own discernment and with their own intuition, really be able to pick up on the bullshit. But they choose not to acknowledge that the story is bullshit by, one, never coming to you and asking you, hey, what happened? What is your version of the truth? And then being able to come to some sort of agreement, which would in some ways keep everything from falling apart, right? I'm not talking about somebody coming in and trying to convince you to let a person back in your life, but being able to have their own understanding, so that, one, the things that they know about you or the person that's doing the lying, they can be like, you know what? She said X, or he said that this was an issue. I've always known that was an issue with you, but you tried to gaslight me out of believing it, or try to make it seem like it was somebody else's fault. But now that somebody like LaWanda or somebody else has said the same thing to you and set up a boundary to where you can no longer have access to their energy, now all of a sudden you're crying and throwing a fucking fit. And what that would allow them to do is continue to stand on what they see in that person, which is you be on that bullshit. Instead, they get the, oh, she did that. Oh, she did that. That's crazy. I can hear the conversations going on in my head. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, bro, I told you these bitches ain't. Let's be for real. You know that man ain't shit, but he makes you feel like shit because he know he got a little bit of edge on you, whether it's education, whether it's career experience, mentality, what money, whatever. But it make you feel good when they back in that same environment that they once saw themselves out of, right? Makes you feel needed, makes you feel, it supports a lack mentality also. You know, when somebody presents something to you that you don't believe is possible, or that they don't believe is possible, and you accomplish it, when it falls apart, when it don't necessarily have to fall apart, it helps sustain their lack of, I knew that shit wasn't real. I knew they wasn't all you thought they was, or all they said they was. It's just an unforgiving cycle of settle and not really wanting more. I mean, it really just comes down to that. People choose every day that they want minimal. And I don't mean minimal as in a minimalist, meaning not greedy, not spending excessive money on unnecessary material things. I mean minimal like their thought process. Can't see their ass around the corner, but want to tell somebody what they shouldn't be believing and doing. You know what I'm saying? It's tiring. But back to people like me who have been, you know, betrayed. Betrayed because you set up a boundary. You didn't explain yourself. You didn't force your side of the story. But you left it open for people. And yes, in my mind, I have a very specific situation. And one day I'll probably stop talking about this. But I mean, it keep coming up. So it's clearly some shit people still experiencing, right? I had a conversation one time with somebody who I had helped a lot. A lot. right? And once they were sort of out of the woods in that situation, safe, right, separate and moved, enough of a distance to where they could like breathe freely. The issue came up when I would call. Now, this is somebody I've known my entire life, right? So when I would call, I'd be like, oh, such and such is around. I'm gonna have to call you back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I risked my name, my reputation, myself, my kids to an extent to assist you in something that could have, we see these type of situations turn very domestic, very violent every single day. And I put myself out there to assist you because I thought we had a balance in our relationship. Only to find out that once you got what you needed, once you got what you came to me for, because I didn't come to you. Once you got what you came to me for, all of a sudden, now that the cat is out the bag at who actually supported you through that transition, who actually put shit on the line to help you do that, now you can't talk in front of people that probably should have been the ones helping you. I was so happy that I was at a point within my healing journey that I said right then, that's unacceptable. What do you mean? You can't talk to me because somebody around? The same people that I've also been around my entire life? What you mean? So you can't even, I was able to do all that I did for you. You can't stand on a phone call. You can't stand on being able to answer the phone as in like, yeah, I'm riding for her. She rode for me. You like, oh, I can't talk right now. Like, and I waited for any of 4 to 5 people could have called my phone and said, yo, what happened? What's going on? And it wasn't like me and that person fell out. This wasn't about me and them. But do you know, ever since I said that, they have not called my phone one time. And that was probably like 2 years ago. Every now and then I'll call because I'm just, I just, some people get a little more room with me. Not a lot. Some people I just, I just have a lot of just compassion and love for it. That just is what it is, right? And I can fight, so I ain't really worried about, you know what I'm saying? It's not that type of situation. There is no type of, it's not that type of drama because I wouldn't be having this conversation, right? This is just like motherfuckers need to heal more people than what they want to admit. And that became the elephant in the room, is how much trauma is actually still growing in an environment in which I came through and shut some shit down. Like, oh, well, that's not about to happen. You call me, come, oh, you, okay, well, that's what we own that. And it won't be growing there. That generation won't be experiencing that type of shit. But then you take yourself back to an environment in which that is the exact experience, right? And then I get shut out. And it was very eye-opening how shut out I became after being like bro, the favorite. Okay, I was the favorite. And that part is really neither here or there. But you grow up, and as you grow up, you realize how many people are just behind in their healing journey. I'm talking about spiritual people, religious people, elders, you know what I'm saying? And certain things happen. It's like, how am I the bad guy? I don't know who that is. How am I the bad guy? How am I and I it's the funny thing about me is, again, in certain situations, I'm not saying I'm holding a grudge, because I wouldn't consider this a grudge. But I feel like if I'm willing to allow you to be in my life and something goes left, that's where we picking it up. We picking it up at the left. Y'all might be back on the straight path in your life, but I'm still at the left. So I play these scenarios out in my mind to where I'm like, yo, if I would hope that no one would ever try to put me on the spot. in regards to that situation or any situation, because who I am now, I'm ready to lay it all out on the table. Now, would I have been willing to lay it all out on the table prior to this situation? No, because how people interact within their own interpersonal relationships is not any of my business, right? Will I go to one specific person and say, hey, I think that was probably foul how you handled that. You probably could have did that better. Yeah, absolutely. But am I about to blast that shit in front of everybody? No, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not a drama starter. But today, I don't make myself small for anybody, right? And I think that's the biggest difference between now and me 6 or 7 years ago, is I just would minimize myself instead of letting the truth be as big and as bold as it needs to be. If you put me in a position to try to humble me, it's not going to work out in your favor. I don't need to be humbled. I'm not excessive. I'm not trying to be seen. I'm not trying to be heard. I am as big as I am, and that's the size I'm going to stay, right? But that's all internal, and people are constantly trying to just make you feel small so that whatever size they are feels bigger. And I don't, okay, I play it out in my mind a lot. Like, what if I was there and she said, because it's going to be the she. It's going to be the she, and not the she from the situation that I helped. It's going to be a different she. The she that thinks she is above me. That's going to have a little snarky comment. And when I get done talking, everybody in the house is going to be looking like they always are. Well, she is right. And that just piss people off even more. Like, y'all just leave me alone, right? Because I can be in the same environment, have the same amount of love and be the same person that I've been forever. But this thing where you would rather try to call me out, because that's what that is. When somebody got a snarky comment that they say in front of you, you want to call me out. I'm gonna call it all out. I'm gonna say it all. And anybody that's involved, I got something for you too. And it's the good thing about me is it's never disrespectful. It's never jabby. It's never malicious. It's never I was gonna say mean, but I could see how some people would think it's mean, because you can easily say, well, you don't know what that person been through. They don't know what I've been through. And not only do they not know what I've been through, they don't care. They don't ask, how you doing? How the girls doing? They're not asking. So again, why am I caring more? And my intention wouldn't be to be mean, right? I'm not trying to do anything to make a situation that needs healing worse or harder to heal. I'm not trying to add insult to injury, but it's going to feel like that. It's gonna feel like I'm adding insult to injury, but I'm not. I would be highlighting things that people have tried to keep in the dark, and then use me to do it. Use me to sustain the darkness, bro. I'm bringing light to that shit. We putting it all out on the table. Might as well be a full moon. Every day can be a full moon. I'm just saying. My point is, you pick and choose the relationships you have. You pick and choose the ones that you walk away from indefinitely. You pick and choose the ones that you simply have to give distance to, because, it is a lot of love. It is, all of that type of good shit. But never forget that if they don't ask your side of the story, it's because whatever they've been told is how they feel about you. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to you to decide if when and if the time comes, how you want to address it. You know what I'm saying? How you want to address it. I'm so thankful to be in a place where I respect everybody. I respect you. Age, I respect you. But nobody has any authority over me. There is no hierarchy in my life. I'm at the top. And when it comes to my life, what I say goes. That's the only way to maintain feeling good about yourself. It's the only way to maintain self-love, to grow within your actual relationship with God if you choose to have one. Is to not let somebody else say, well, because I'm this and you, that shit right there is dead over here. And in part of that action to maintaining that reality is when somebody lie about you, whoever they lying to, let them believe it. They can believe whatever they want to believe. Don't go trying to justify it. Don't go trying to explain it. Don't try to fix it. Just maintain your vibe, maintain your energy. And if you find yourself in a situation with said people and somebody thinks it's a good idea to bring it up, you could respond how you want to, right? But don't be, excuse me. I was like, damn, I got a meeting. Don't be tricked out of your spot, because it don't take much for people if you haven't built up that spiritual muscle, or what some would consider the full armor of God. Like if you don't know that that is there and can be there for you in a split second. I can come in just open, free, ready to receive, and one little comment, a look will make me suit right up. Like, oh, okay. My energy don't change. I keep moving and grooving because I gotta, even if it's affecting me, I gotta trick you into believing it's not. Magician card, okay? I'll use every tool I got to convince you that you are not bothering me, even though on the inside my heart might be hurting because of what has went down, and because I didn't expect it, and because nobody cares the fuck enough to see what actually went down. Y'all just took the shit and ran with it because it satisfies your shit only. It don't satisfy the family. It don't satisfy the big picture. It satisfies you. And I have to be aware enough of the truth to accept that that is what it is, but it don't mean it's not hurtful, right? It don't mean it's not painful. And I'm not going to try to hurt you back. Just don't. I wouldn't risk it with me. I wouldn't risk it. And I wouldn't risk it with the people watching this video, because we are all being encouraged to find and take back our power. The power that other people who think they're in authority over us, have taken from us, who have tried to take it from us and make us feel like the only power we have is what they give us. It's very much a spiritual warfare game. It's very much a game. And we winning over here. You know what I'm saying? We winning over here. So just be mindful. Be mindful of moments when people make you feel like you owe an explanation for your side of any story. Any story. Why didn't it work out with her? Well, who was that? Nobody has the answers for your decisions but you. Nobody's going to get good karma or bad karma. Nobody's going to get what you're putting out in the world return to them but you. Okay? So yeah, I think that's enough for a return video. I'll be back. Hope to see y'all.